Hello, good evening for all members of our community in Europe. Um, my name is Eduardo Alexander, and I am a teacher of Taoist internal alchemy and also um, the, this system of Qigong that supports internal alchemy. So in this year, 2026, we are starting um, classes at Europe uh, in the first moment online classes. And we are in this progression of public classes. So in last month, in March, we've done a class about the Shen, about the consciousness or spirit, the role of the Shen consciousness in internal Taoist alchemy. And the class today is about the Jing, Jing, that is what we translate as the essence of life, or also um, sexual energy is how people have been translating it, and it's a both translations have some problems, and we are going to check these issues as soon as possible. So we are in the second class of the year for a class that is already going on. But if you can, and if you are interested, you can come to the class and make experimental classes to check if this cultivation is for you. It is um, a very efficient system of cultivating health in the first moment, and the possibility of going further into the cultivation of a spiritual path in the second moment. But the first moment of internal alchemy is always the cultivation of health. And for that, we have what we say the three treasures, the idea of the Shen that we've talked in last month, of the Qi that may be translated as vital force, and of the Jing, or essence or sexual energy. So if you translate it as essence, we have a problem that is the immediate absence of meaning, right? That's the essence of life. So it gets too vague. And I've been, just a minute, our teacher in Europe, Ana Claudia, is coming back to us.
Hello, good evening. Hi.
Good evening for all. So we've now with our class full. So I was talking about presenting the Jing before you came in. We were with some technical issues on sound and transmission, so excuses
Now
for that.
my audio is working fine. Good.
Yeah, now it's good. So I was saying that translating the Jing for essence is a term that means almost nothing. I mean, it's too vague. You can't really understand. And translating for sexual energy is it gives more comprehension, but it has the problem of being too much restrictive in the meaning also. So the idea is that Jing is about a power to create life in form, a power to create a body, a power to create a body that has a form and a plan for living. So it is about a kind of creative energy that we see also in sexuality. So when we talk about sexual energy, we are not talking just about the physical part of sexual energy that would be in case of the Taoists the sperm for the men and the sexual and the menses for the women. Um, but we are also talking about the possibility of using the creative power that uh, the body carries and carries, especially on a specific part of the bodies, to not only enhance this energy, cultivate this energy, make it more intense, and use it for, uh, in a first moment, to create health. So you should be aware that the five plenitudes or five fullness project is about trying to create health in a world that is not made to sustain health, to really live healthy. And much sooner in my life, I experimented many systems of health cultivation, and for me, the Taoist system is the most effective. It can bring us the effective tools to really do that, and also an effective theoretical background for you to understand what is happening when you do the practices. And this is our job today in this class. So the idea of a creative power that is present in the human body and that can be um, enhanced and transformed is the base of the idea of the Jing, right? So in the first place, we have to understand where it is and how to do it. And for that, I will show to you one image that is this one here. And this image is a classical illustration of what to say the passage of the waters. The translation is the diagram of the passage of the waters. And what can we see in this diagram? If we look to the lower part of it, is that we have waters, and waters are the symbol for the Jing, for this creative power. So the ancient Taoists, they have this idea that there is no life without water. Water has a very specific um, and a special place in the Taoist system. It is said that is the first element to come out of the origin of the cosmos, what they call the Wu Ji, or the supreme emptiness. And water has this role of carrying the energy of the creation. And it also has a very specific role of being the mediator between what they call the form and the non-form or no form. So these are notions and categories that are very important for us to understand how they would look to life when we are doing qigong. This is very important when we are doing those kind of standing qigong, that is the Janjuan. You are really trying to be immersed on this water. And one of the feelings that you have is that your body begins to lose its form. And in the tradition, it is called to be between form and no form. And that gives us many possibilities to, just a minute. Okay. So this gives us many possibilities to operate. And this graph, so going back to the graph, to the diagram, so we see this amount of water in the lower part of it. and we see that this water is going up a kind of rocky way up to a lake that is in the upper part of it. So one very specific part of this diagram is that it portrays water that runs down or upwards. It runs upwards from a sea that is below to a lake that is above. Um, and this is an illustration of what the Taoists say and call the circulation of the Jing, or the circulation of the sexual energy. So this is a representation of our body. So this is our pelvis, and this is our head, and this is our spine. So the idea is that we have a practice that is able to fulfill this ocean. It's like the ocean is enhanced in water, and then you have to circulate and distribute this water to the whole body through this special path that is spine and head. So this is a model of what we say the sexual energy cultivation and circulation. Uh, and it is very important for what we say cultivating health. Because the idea that is behind it is that the Jing has the power to regenerate. It is creative power that in the beginning is used to create your body. And when you are practicing, it's like you are recreating your body in the moment you do the circulation or the enhancement of the sexual energy. And
And I
this has profound implications for uh, the level of energy that you may have to live your life. This is the basic function of all of these things. And how we do that? We do that in very specific ways. So let me show you.
and this is something we started practicing since we entered this cycle of Jing cultivation since a few weeks ago. So the feeling of the water, the movements that are following a aquatic flow, and what I've been hearing from the group, from the practitioners, is that it really brings them this circulation internally. You know, some people started getting in contact with that ability to circulate. Still early stages, preliminary, but I think it's a skill, like you mentioned in the previous slide.
Mhm.
It's a skill to develop. So we have been in that path, and even the trajectory, even the early stages are already bringing people different types of feelings and more energy and more well-being. So it's been really interesting to see the reactions and the experiences the group is already relating to me.
Wow, nice. So the group is already in contact with the energy, and this is very important for us to um, otherwise a theoretical class like this can be too um, can sound like fantasy, and it's not fantasy. It is a real body experience, right? So I was talking about how to do it. So we are going to understand the physiology of the model and why you do these things. So one very important thing is what we call the perineum, is this area between the genitals and the anus. So this is the idea of the perineum and this tip of the sacrum bone here, that's the coccyx bone. They are what they call the place that will determine if the waters of the ocean will flow down and be lost and lose the sexual energy, the energy that it contains, or if it can go to the circulation. In this view here, it is not so visible, but I can send you later if you want a zoomed version of this part. So we have here a kind of water wheel that is moved by by a girl and by a boy, and this water wheel is turning the water upside. Okay, so this is a representation of this, what we say, the pelvic floor. So it is a very important part of the cultivation in the beginning to restore the power of the pelvic floor, to be able to pulsate and to lock and to use your perineum and pelvic floor to move the energy. So this is very important as a first step to start growing the gene. And also we have specific positions or postures that are especially used for enhancing the pelvic floor, and also the organs that are related to the Jing, especially what we call the water system organs that are the kidney and the bladder. They are the two organs that are related to the water and to the creative energy. They have the role of managing all the basic energy of the Jing in your body. So we have practices of Qigong with breathing. We have meditation for the cultivation of sexual energy. And we have tonic herbs. So when you do Qigong, standing postures, and meditation, you can start to enhance and to increase your sexual energy, your creative energy. And that will be you in the first moment stored in your dantian, in your lower belly, and it will recover your kidneys. And what that means, it means that the battery, the central battery of energy of your life is going to be restored. So if in last month we studied the Shen as the consciousness and how uh, to live with a stable consciousness, presence, awareness, and how the emotions would consume awareness if it is not well digested and processed. In this module, we are studying about the basic battery of life. So it can give us many benefits that living life with more energy can do. Okay, so in the course itself, in the classes itself, you are going to use the Qigong, the specific Qigong and specific postures and specific meditation. And this is very important for you, is that to understand that a posture is designed to do one specific thing. So we have postures that are posture to increase the Jing. We have postures that are used to increase the Shen. We have postures that are used to circulate the Qi or the vital energy. And as we have specific meditations or done meditations for that. And also we have specific forms of Qigong for each of what we call the three treasures, right? The tonic herbs, we have some examples here, like the yin yang huo or the deer antler, the ginseng, the renshan. And we have many of what we call the tonic substances, the substances that are able to tonify your creative, basic, fundamental energy. But this is not possible to do in group class because the use of herbs are very personalized. So we cannot use herbs without a previous understanding and examination and analysis of what is going in your singularity as a human being. Okay, so what you will study again, and this is also the basic of a basic model that in this first moment I'm not going to elaborate it, but it is the idea of a model of economy of the creative energy, a model of economy of the Jing. So the idea is that we have ways to produce Jing, and these ways to produce Jing is related to breathing, to sleeping, to doing qigong, and how you deal with your sexual life. So this is very important. Is that um, and this is when it is very important to use the Jing as sexual energy. Is that to understand how your sexual life interferes in the creation of this energy, or it is positive or negative in this sense. So the model is a way to understand how you create this Jing energy and how you expand this Jing energy. So which are the most problematic parts of your life that are consuming the energy that you are producing. So the idea is that you can check out how much you produce, how much you expend, and the idea of the model is to be able to produce more than you expend. That's why we call it economy model of the Jing, right? So as your classes go further, you are going to understand better and dive deeper into this model. So today, it was the basic presentation of the Jing or essence, and I hope we could cover the first meanings and um, associations and ideas of the Jing. So we are now open to some questions here in the YouTube. If you wanna make some questions. And
Yeah,
Anna, if you
use
have some
the
comments or
chat.
some things to add.
No, I think the most interesting piece is like when you say that it's hard to have a direct translation, not the most interesting piece, but it's also interesting for people to think about that when we say our essence, maybe it's too generic. When we say sexual energy, it's too specific. But in the end, it's the creative ability that we have in ourselves. So that there's some package of energy that allows us to do a lot of things, to be creative mentally as well, to be creative manually, and to be creative in the sexual sense, and also to enjoy, to have more pleasure, more vitality. So in the
Exactly.
end, we need to expand the way of thinking and making those connections in practical terms. Now, when we practice in the weekly sessions, it's the opportunity to feel that, right? It's the opportunity to experience that, and after a few practices with regularity, we start really realizing the changes. I can speak for myself. I think in the beginning, I was really hard to feel things, and then it comes with regularity. So I also think it makes sense to call it, like you call it sometimes, the kung fu, because it is
Exactly.
about dedication. It is about acquiring some skills through repetition, through practice. And it's not different with the Jing. Although we call it a Qigong, it could be a Jing. Kung many
Jing
times.
Gong.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what
This
we are
is
doing now in the month of April.
and this is really what they use this term. I will write it in the chat. The Shen Gong. It is really used in the Taoist sense. That is would be the kung fu of the Shen. The most used that most of you know is the Qi Kung, right? That is the kung fu of the Qi of the life force. I don't know if you have this term in Chinese, but it makes sense. That would be the Jing Gong, no? But I don't know really. I have never seen this pair of words, but the first two, of course, they are used.
Yeah,
Okay,
so anybody is curious, interested, not yet practicing, just find us in Instagram and Facebook, and we can easily share with you some of the sessions, so you can join us on a Thursday evening and feel it and see how it goes. And it doesn't have to be one time only. You can do 2, 3 sessions before you have to engage, so you can really know what we are talking about.
perfect. So this is how we do it. We are going to be here at least once a month to talk about Taoist theoretical aspects. And when we finish this YouTube session, we go to our private classroom in the Zoom with the students that are already enrolled in the class. So, as Anna said, if this is interesting for you, you may also check our addresses here in our YouTube channel and make contact with us. Okay. So now let's go to our private class, Anna.
Yeah, I'll be sending the link to the group in a moment. So thanks for everybody who joined, and see
Okay.
you soon.
See
Thanks.
you. Bye bye.